Hello everyone, it's Scott Johnson here again, and the goal of today's video is really to bring awareness to eating, and specifically to help children and teenagers be more aware of what their eating choices mean. What does it actually mean when they eat X number of calories? Or eat a specific product, or if they choose a particular meal when they are out at a restaurant over a different one. And so many of us hope to instill better eating habits into our children. And we do so in a hope that they will be healthier when they are adults. It's an even greater hope that children will make good food and beverage choices when they are outside our presence and away from home. This hope has been a battle for years between children who may not fully understand how eating affects their health and parents who want their children to be as healthy as possible. It isn't easy to help children make better food and beverage choices because each child is different with varying tastes and varying willingness to listen to their parents. But it is a worthy and worthwhile goal that all parents should strive for. The obesity trend among children is following the adult trend, and we are starting these children off on the wrong foot. While it's oversimplistic to say that weight loss or gain is simple math of the calories you eat versus the calories you expend in physical activity, it is important to recognize the impact of calories. So let's talk about some of the statistics in America. So first, obesity has more than doubled and quadrupled in children aged 6 to 19 years over the last 3 decades. So it's significantly increasing. Now, what are the health effects of more children who are obese? Well, obese children are at an increased risk of cardiovascular disease. They are more likely to become pre-diabetic and then diabetic. Obese children are more likely to have bone and joint problems, sleep apnea, and social and psychological problems. The risks of obesity follow these children into adulthood. So it's not just something they face in their childhood, but they are also more likely to have heart disease, type 2 diabetes, stroke, cancer, and osteoarthritis as an adult. So it's really important that we understand the impact of carrying around excess weight. Now, fortunately, recent studies suggest that educating children about the consequences of their eating behaviors can have an impact and may improve the likelihood that they will make better food and beverage choices. For instance, a study done by Massachusetts researchers determined that if you present caloric information to teens in a format that they can understand, that it will reduce purchases of sugar-sweetened beverages, and that those sugar-sweetened beverages will be replaced by a healthier option of water. In February of 2012, the Journal of the American Medical Association reported that placing pictures of vegetables on school lunch trays make children 2 to 3 times more likely to eat vegetables during school lunch. So as parents, if we can educate our children more about the food choices that they may be more inclined to make some good choices. So let's talk about beverage choices to start. But before we get into food and beverage choices and how they affect us, I want to make it clear that I'm not saying any of these products are bad or condemning choices, nor is the nutritional value of the product considered for the purpose of this video. Instead, this is a video simply meant to build awareness of the calorie consequences of choices. So here we have on the screen 3 different beverage choices. And I have also included some information based on a 6-year-old male, what percentage of the calories that this particular choice of beverage would make up in their daily calories, as well as what kind of activity would be required in order to burn those calories off. So the first one is based on a 6-year-old male, and the second one is a 12-year-old female. So it just gives you an idea. Now, if you want to look at your specific situation or your child's specific situation, then there are lots of places that you can go online and you can put in your age and your weight, and they can determine how much you'd have to run or how long you'd have to walk or whatever activity to burn off a certain number of calories. So you can do the same thing, same kind of activity with your children's actual age and weight, so it will be more personalized to them. So we see that water provides us 0 calories, and so it's going to take up 0% of our daily calories, and we don't have to do anything to burn those off. Now, if you choose a 12-ounce soda instead, then for the 6-year-old male, that 12-ounce soda will provide 150 calories, which is about 11% of their daily calorie requirement, 8% for the 12-year-old female. Now, to put that into numbers so you can see, well, what do I have to do to get rid of those calories? Well, a 6-year-old male would have to run for 30 minutes in order to eliminate those 150 calories from the soda. The 12-year-old female would need to run about 13 minutes in order to eliminate the same number of calories. Now, what if we chose the big 32-ounce cup of soda instead of the 12-ounce? So a significant increase in the calories, 400 calories, and we can see that it's going to take up a lot more of the daily calories for each of our 6-year-old male and our 12-year-old female. It takes 66 minutes of running to work off that 32-ounce soda and 36 minutes of running for the female. So that just gives you an idea of, okay, the next time you go into the convenience store or you're at a grocery store and you're choosing what beverage you want, hopefully that will be in your mind. Now, breakfast, let's talk about breakfast. What if we choose an oatmeal for breakfast? Well, the percentage of calories, daily calories, is 12% for the 6-year-old male, 11% for the 12-year-old female. Now, I've changed the activity. What is it going to take if we're going to go out and play soccer to burn off those calories? Well, for the male, it would be 65 minutes or just over an hour of soccer, and the female would be just over a half hour of soccer to burn off the oatmeal. Now, what if we chose 3 pancakes with syrup instead? Now we're getting upwards of near or over a third of calories for each of the 2 people. And now we're going to have to play over 3 hours of soccer with the 6-year-old male and an hour and a half of soccer for the female to burn off those calories. Now, a third option, we could get this double croissant sandwich with sausage and bacon. That's going to provide us 790 calories, which that 6-year-old male, it's more than 50% or more than half of his daily calorie requirements in that one sandwich. It's about half of the same for a 12-year-old female. Now, that's a lot of soccer playing, 299 minutes of soccer for the male, 161 minutes of soccer for the female. So again, this is just showing us what our choices equate to in calories and what do those calories mean? What does it actually mean in physical activity to get rid of that to keep a good calorie balance? Now let's go to lunch or dinner. If we were to choose a grilled chicken sandwich and we grab the apple slices instead of the fries and a juice instead of the soda, we would be able to keep our calorie count to about 450 calories. So we're under a third of our daily requirement for both of our people. If we were to equate that into activity, it would take about 200 minutes of cycling for the male to burn off calories from that meal, whereas the female would be able to do so in about 107 minutes. Now, if we decided, you know what, I'm not going to go with the grilled chicken, I'm going to get a cheeseburger instead, and I really want the small fries, and I'm going to get a soda as well, then we're going to increase our calories for the meal to 660. And that's going to get us closer for that male to about half of our daily calorie requirements in one meal. Similar, about 41% for the female. So to equate that into cycling again, that's 291 minutes of cycling to burn that off, or 157 minutes for our 12-year-old female. Last, we could choose, we're really hungry today, and so we grab the Big Mac and we grab some fries, and instead we go for a chocolate shake. For that 6-year-old male, are getting close to 100% of daily calories in one single meal, and 82% for the 12-year-old female. So what does that equate to? Well, we'd have to cycle for 578 minutes in order to burn off that meal. And the female would have to cycle for 311 minutes. So again, I'm not condemning any of these choices or saying any of these choices are bad. I'm just hoping that people can now be more aware what these calories actually mean when they go to a restaurant and make their food or beverage choice. Let's talk about desserts, because desserts can vary widely on the calorie count that they're going to provide. So if we went with a soft serve cone, a vanilla soft serve cone, we're going to get about 192 calories for that small ice cream cone, which is about 14% and 12% of the daily requirements for our two people. So if we were just going to go for a walk to get rid of these calories, then 130 minutes would be required for the 6-year-old male. So roughly 2 hours, just over 2 hours. And the female is just under an hour and a half at 83 minutes. If we wanted to get chocolate cake with frosting instead, then we're going to be over a third of our calories for both our people. And the male is going to need to walk 430 minutes, while the female would be 231 minutes. Now, lastly, we could go with a piece of cheesecake, which people may look at this and go, okay, well, that piece of cake looks about the same size, the chocolate cake looks about the same size as this piece of cheesecake. But the cheesecake is a more calorie-dense food. So you get 1,330 calories in that piece of cheesecake, which is 95% of the daily calories for the male and 83% for the female. So if we're going to walk these off, we're going to be walking for a considerable amount of time. In fact, most of our waking hours, because you need 1,066 minutes of walking to get rid of the calories for that piece of cheesecake in the young 6-year-old male. The 12-year-old female, she's going to have to walk for 574 minutes to burn off those calories. So let's talk about the benefits of better food choices. So number one is we're going to reduce our risk of heart disease, diabetes, and some types of cancer. Another thing that we will have is that we will improve the likelihood that we can live a longer and healthier life. That's the important part of it. That lifespan can be healthier. We will lower the risk of obesity and being overweight. We can have an improved mood. We can better manage stress by eating better. We can have a higher intake of antioxidant-rich fruits and vegetables, which can reduce the appearance of aging, so we can keep looking younger for longer. We can reduce medical expenses. We can enhance brain power and productivity. And children who eat a healthy breakfast tend to perform better academically, so they do better in school. Their body and their brain have the nutrients it needs to perform better in school. So I hope this video has brought some awareness about how food and beverage choices affect us, particularly for you teens and children who may be watching. I urge you to listen to your parents next time they tell you to choose water over soda or apple slices over French fries. Until next time, I invite you to join me today in raising a healthier generation naturally.